Hello, I am so glad you can join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, today it is that time of the year. It's Christmas. Christmas is just around the corner, and it's time for me to make my Bajan black cake. This is a cake that's made in Barbados only on Christmas, so it's very special. So today I am making it for you. But before I make my cake, let me just tell you, there's also a special dish that's made in Barbados. It's called jug jug. And a few people have asked me to make jug jug, and I wanted to make jug jug today. But guys, there's something that goes into jug jug that's called Guinea corn flour. I cannot find it. I went to Walmart, I went to like 3 supermarkets, I even went on Amazon. I couldn't find it. It's like, I guess I got ordered all the way from Africa. I couldn't get Guinea corn, so I'm not able to make it today. And that is a dish that was made only on Christmas. My grandmother made it every Christmas morning, and I wanted to make it for you because it's a Barbados tradition. But if I get it before Christmas, I would make it. But today I am making my Bajan black cake. So come along, guys, get all your stuff together and let's make this together, okay? The first thing I'm gonna start with here, as you see, I have my scale over here. I pull the scale out, and on the scale here I have 2 pounds of dark sugar. You can use white sugar too if you want to. So I'm gonna put my sugar in here. My bowl is a little small, guys, so hopefully everything fits in without falling out, because I'm gonna try to do all 2 pounds together. So now I'm gonna put some butter in here, and I want 2 pounds of butter as well. I already have some here that I poured in here. I'm gonna have to turn this around a little bit so that I can see the number on it, and then I'll show you. Okay guys, here I have 2 pounds of butter, and I'm gonna add this butter right here to the sugar. I'm trying to push it down in there. Now, last week I made a sweetbread, and I complained that because my flour was flying out, so I had to put a towel around it. So my husband went online and he found me a cover to go on here. So I'm gonna try to put this cover on, okay, that everything hopefully will stay inside. So what we're gonna do is just beat this, okay? Now if you don't have one of these KitchenAids, it's okay. If you have a hand mixer, you can use that, or you just go back to the old-fashioned way of getting a spoon, and a big spoon, and just beating it. That of course takes a long time. This is much faster, but you know, whatever you have is what you would use, okay? So I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna beat this until it's nice and fluffy. Once it's nice and fluffy, that looks like whipped cream, I'm gonna come back and show you what I will do next. Okay guys, now let's go on to the next step. Over here, our butter and our sugar is beating right now, trying to get that nice and fluffy. So while that is beating, I'm gonna go on to the next process. And the next step I'm gonna do is to beat some eggs. These eggs, I also left them at room I also took them out of the fridge earlier and left them at room temperature as well. Okay, I have 16 eggs in here, and because I'm doing 2 pounds of cake, it's 8 eggs per pound. Now when I was growing up, my grandmother always put a dozen eggs per pound, but I kind of cut it back to 8 eggs per pound, okay? So I'm using 16 eggs all together because I'm making 2 pounds of cake, all right? So I break my eggs, and I put my eggs in here, and this is basically what I'm gonna do here. Next thing I'm doing, I have now in here is my 16 eggs in here. So what I'm gonna do is, I have 2 lemons. I only want the skin. Now some person have written me and said, oh, put the lemon juice in there, put the zest of the lemon in there. Some people do that, okay? I don't do that. But everybody have a choice. If you prefer to do that, you can do that, okay? But just be careful when you put the zest in the lemon that you don't put too much, because then it changes the taste a little bit and you have a lemony cake. So be careful with that. What I do is I'm just gonna peel the lemon skin and put the skin in here, and I'm gonna beat it up with the skin, and that's just gonna cut the rawness of the eggs. And basically that's what I want to do. That way every time you go to eat a piece of cake, you're not smelling the egg. Okay, so I'm gonna peel both these lemons. Okay, so in here I have my lemon skins into the side of eggs. So next I'm going to add in here a tablespoon of vanilla. Oh, open. This is vanilla essence. I'm going to put a tablespoon in there. Okay. I have some almond essence. I'm going to use half a tablespoon. The next thing I'm going to do while that is beating is now I'm going to beat my eggs in here. Okay guys, eggs are all well beaten. So now I'm going to add these eggs to this. I already checked. As a matter of fact, let me just show you. Over here, as you can see, I beat this up and it's nice and it's fluffy. You see how that is? It looks like whipped cream, like cream. And if you test it between your fingers, you can see that the sugar has already been beaten up. There, you can't find you can't feel the grains of the sugar, which means it's all melted up, which is good. Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna put this back here, turn it back on, and what I'm gonna do is slowly add my eggs to that batter. When I went to Barbados, I tried to take my girls to Queen's Park. I told them all about Queen's Park, and they said you gotta get up early because we gotta get there early because everybody go to church. We used to go to church maybe like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then leave church and then wait for the first bus, which was 6 o'clock, to go to the park. So you see everybody in the fancy dresses. Everybody look beautiful, brand new dresses, look really nice. And my girls was like, Mommy, when it's time to wake up, I had such a hard time getting them on. By the time we got dressed and we got to the park, a lot of people had already left. So they really didn't see the real thing. Guys, so now I want 2 pounds of flour. I have to turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. That's like 1 pound in there, and me flatten it out. Okay guys, so as you see here, we have 2 pounds of flour. So I'm gonna add this flour, add the flour over here. So that's 2 pounds of flour in there. Now we're gonna spice up this flour a little. Okay, so to the flour that I have here, I will add 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of allspice. Allspice have like clove and different spices inside of it. So that's 1 teaspoon of that. This is 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 tablespoon of baking powder. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is mix this all up together. Make sure everything in here is nice and combined. Want to make sure the salt and everything goes throughout. Okay, good. So once you mix this up well, I'm just gonna set this aside. So what you need, guys, what you're gonna need is a nice big bowl. Okay, the bowl you need is gonna be nice and big. And let me go ahead and take these skins out of here because I don't need them anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out before I do anything else. Okay, So let's get started. Over here we have our eggs and the batter is in this big bowl. Now I am going to add some flour. I'm going to start here and I'm going to sieve my flour in here. I have a spoon here. I'm going to just mix this up. Alright guys, so when you add some of your flour in here, I already added most of the flour in here. Now what I'm going to do is I have here some browning. Okay, some people burnt their own sugar and put it here. I just use browning. So we're gonna pour some of this in here, probably about 8 tablespoons, but it's up to you the color of your cake. Okay, some people like it very dark, some people don't like it that dark, so you can look at it and see. But just remember, when the cake is just remember when the cake is baked, it's gonna look darker, so be careful. Okay, so I'm gonna put in about 8 tablespoons in here. That's 2, 3. Let me start with 4. I'm gonna start with 4, and then I would add some more to it. Let me get a little something to rest this in here. I would start with 4. Okay, color is starting. It's starting to take shape with this color. See, it's starting to get dark. So I'm gonna put about 4 more of these in here. So that's 8 all together. So let's see if we need some more. You just keep stirring it. Looking good. I'm not going to put in any more at this moment because I still have to put my fruits in here, and that's also dark. Okay, so see the colors come in. It's looking nice, a color that I like. So over here I have my fruits that has been sitting for like the past 6 months. So I am going to stir that up a little bit. Let me just stir this up a little bit, guys, because this has just been sitting here. Now guys, I gotta tell you something. See, I had 2 of those. I made 2 of those and I put it on top of the refrigerator, not paying any attention to it. But I guess over a period of time of people opening the refrigerator door and closing it, it started to slide forward. So one morning I'm upstairs getting ready for work and I heard this like bang, this big clash downstairs. My daughter opened the refrigerator and it came down, it broke up and blew. There went my fruit. But luckily I had 2, so that was only one of them, and this is more than enough. So these are my fruits that was soaking here for a while, and my rum and my falernum and Guinness stout and port wine. So now I'm going to add about 8 cups of this to my batter. So let me get started. So now I'm gonna pour some of this in here. This holds like 4.5 cups. So I'll probably pour 4 cups in here. 4. Yes. So this I would put to my fruits. So this I would put now to the batter. Bring this forward now. I'm gonna pour all of this in here. If you don't like a lot of fruits in your cake, you don't have to use as much. You know, sometimes the more fruits you use, the heavier your cake becomes. But if you don't want your cake to be that heavy, you can use less, okay? But I want it nice because this is Christmas cake and they only make this once a year, so I want nice and heavy. So I'm gonna put more fruits in here. Like but I need some more fruit in here. So I'm gonna measure out like another 4 cups. Because I want lots of fruit. Ah, it's heavy. Angela, you said you were baking your cake and you were gonna make your ice cream with your cake. Did you make your ice cream? You gotta let me know if you made your ice cream and how you like it. Okay, guys? In a past video, I took some of my fruits and I made ice cream with some of this fruit and it was so good. So you can go up there and take a look at that video if you want some ice cream for the holidays and make your own specialty ice cream. That would be your specialty. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix this up. I also have here some port wine. This is the wine that I use. I've never used any other kind of wine. This is the wine my grandmother used. I use what my grandmother used. You can use any kind of wine you like, but I like this wine, port wine. So this is what I'm using, and I'm gonna use it. Put half a cup in here. Yes. I'm gonna mix this up well. And I'm going to add the rest of the flour in here. Now, I have some more flour here. I'm gonna add that in here. This is the nutmeg here. It's a little bit. No, I'm just gonna fold this in. You're just basically folding in your stuff, guys. Make sure your stove is on because you want to heat your oven on. Heat your oven up. You want to heat up your oven before you put your cakes in your oven. You want to make sure your oven is nice and hot. So go ahead and turn your oven on so it can heat up. I can see that it's a little bit liquidy, so it needs some more flour. You see the texture of that? It needs more flour, okay? So I'm gonna put some more flour to it. So I have another cup of flour here that I just measured. So I'm just going to. And when you put your flour in, guys, and this depends on how much mixture you have, but you're gonna just put a little bit of flour at a time and just make sure you get your texture. Once I get the texture that I'm looking for, I'll show you what my texture is, what I'm looking for, okay? Okay, guys, so this is what it looks like. This is the texture right here that you're gonna get, okay? And this is what it looks like. So I think this is enough. I don't need to add anything else in here. That's enough. Okay. Looks nice. So now what I'm going to do to this is I am going to get my pans together. I've already started. So let me show you what I've done. So these are going to be the pans that I'm going to be using. I haven't greased them as yet, but I'll grease them in a few minutes. So these are going to be my pans. I have one more pan here. I haven't lined it yet because I want to show you exactly how I do it. So over here I have some wax paper. I'm just going to put my pan on top of that, and then I'm just going to go around and make a circle around here. And then I will cut that circle out. So let me go ahead and cut that. circle. So what you're going to do is put your circle to the bottom here, okay? And you're going to bake your cake on here. But before I do that, I'm going to butter the tin. You have to butter the tin first. So I have a little leftover butter. You can use your hands. We're baking. Our hands are clean. They're constantly in water. So this is an empty tin that I have here that I'm just taking the leftover butter from. And then I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to stick it in here. And now because it has the butter, it's going to stick perfectly in there. And then I'm also going to put some butter on top of that. And it's going to even stick even better, okay? And this is how you're going to line your pan. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the rest of my pans, and then I'll be back to put the cake inside of the pans. Alright guys, now it is time to put the cake in the oven. So as I showed you, we have the cake here. It's all done. I have my pans and everything here. So I have a dipping cup here, measuring cup. I'm just going to dip, pour some in here. So hopefully I'll do this without making too much of a mess. You're going to fill your cup, your bowl. You're going to leave a little space at the top. So I had to go get another pan. So far I have 3 big pans and 3 small pans. So what you're going to do is you're going to just, because we want this to settle, we don't want the air inside of it, no air bubbles. So you just hit it like this and make sure it's settled in there, all of them. Okay, and these are going to take about an hour and a half in the oven. The smaller ones is going to take less time, maybe 40 minutes, but you're going to check them at 30 minutes, okay? My stove right now is at 350. I'm going to put my stove all the way down to about 275, because when you're making your cake, you want it to take its time and cook slowly. You don't want to rush the process. I have a pan over here, and I have some hot water. I'm going to put this hot water in here. I'm going to put this water inside of the oven to the bottom. And what happens is, as this cakes are cooking, the steam and so on from here is going to help to keep the cake nice and moist, and to help it cook evenly, okay? So let me go ahead and put these in the oven, and as soon as they're all done, I'm gonna come back and show you the finished process. Okay guys, so the cakes are out of the oven. I have a couple of cakes here, and what I did, this is still a little bit warm, is in this bottle I have half rum and half wine, port wine in here, and what I'm gonna do is spray the cakes. So all you're gonna do while the cake is still warm, you just go around and spray some wine and rum on it like that, and just let it evaporate into the cake, and just give them a good spray. And once you spray your cake like that, you let it sit for a while, come to a complete cool before you cut it. So I'll be back as soon as it's cool so I can cut it and taste it for you. Okay guys, here is the cake. It is done and it's ready. I kind of like put a little bit of fruits around there to decorate it, to make it look pretty for you guys. I like everything to look pretty for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it now and give it a try and see how it tastes. So let me cut it. And I'm gonna wipe the knife and cut the other side. This is a nice big slice, guys, but I just wanted to cut it big like that. Oh yeah. And guys, that is your Bajan black cake or grape cake or fruit cake or whatever you want to call it. But those are the names that this is usually called. So here's the cake. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a test. Try it and tell you exactly what it tastes like. This is good. It is nice and rich. You can taste the alcohol, of course. But guys, this is good. This is good. It's very good. You can taste, it's a nice moist cake for this. You can only eat a little piece of it at a time because it is, I put a lot of fruits inside of it, so it's nice and heavy. But it's delicious. Guys, I'm so glad that y'all were able to join me today. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. I had fun making this, and I hope you have fun making some for the holidays for your family. Until next time, bye-bye.